Dead by Daylight's latest PTB was a mess. People complain about perk reworks, kill adjustments, core mechanic shifts, and. Honestly, it didn't have to be like that. Behavior keeps falling into this same trap, and they act also surprised when the community can't give useful feedback. So let's talk about why Behavior's PTB approach is actually broken and how to fix it. So here's the problem, the current situation that we have. The PTB dropped with multiple overlapping changes, all trying to solve the same core issues: tunneling and slugging. Anti-tunneling and anti-slugging mechanics sound great on paper, and it is great that Behavior is also experimenting to do something against these things. But in practice, it is a disaster. Why, you ask? Well, players were hit with a tidal wave of tweaks, perk reworks, system overhauls, gameplay adjustments, and suddenly killers were losing left and right. Even people like Oddstava and Hans, who are cornerstones of the community, some of the best players, and also produce content online, are struggling to win. And the worst thing is that nobody can tell what change is actually working and what isn't. Imagine if you're ill. It is basically like mixing every medicine in the cabinet together and hoping that you get better. And if something helps, you don't know what it was. And if something hurts, you don't know what caused it. And let me tell you, surprise, surprise, the PTB turned into chaos. People complained, people got mad, and they also spread their anger on Twitter, on the forums, on Reddit, everywhere. Instead of giving meaningful feedback, Behavior just received noise. It was a shitfest, plain and simple. And what's the response? Well, Behavior just said revert everything, scrap the whole thing, push it back to the drawing board. And to be honest, this is not testing. That is just a waste of time, both for the devs and also all the players that invested the time to test this patch. To say it in the words of a Redditor, Behavior doesn't isolate the variables. If you want real feedback, you can't throw 10 experiments at the wall at once. You need to test one change at a time, or at least keep them spread enough that the impact of each is clear. That's also what every smart developer does. Introduce changes gradually, measure the results, iterate. That way you can identify what's actually good and keep it, and pinpoint what fails without dragging the rest down. So imagine if they roll these updates out step by step. Players could actually evaluate the changes. Behavior would get clear, actionable feedback and data. And also, most importantly, good ideas wouldn't get buried under the bad ones. Take the unhook protections, for example. Survivors suddenly get haste, endurance, stealth effects, no collision or a reading. It's a massive bundle. And if killers say, well, unhooking feels way too safe, well, was it because of the haste? Was it because of the endurance? Is it the hidden scratch marks? Maybe the problem is only if all these things are together. But to be honest, nobody can tell. Same with the hook status update. Killers lose hook auras, they lose HUD information, there's no loud noise notification. If killers report, they feel blind or powerless. Which part of the update caused it? Again, it is impossible to say. On top of that, you got tunneling penalties, changing gen speeds, slugging penalties with the new resolve bar, automatic recovery, faster crawling, and also multiple perk reworks layered over everything else. Is the 25% gen speed increase overtuned? Is it because survivors can pick themselves up? Is it because killer perks are regressing gens less? The feedback becomes noise instead of a signal. Instead of clear, actionable answers like endurance after unhook is too strong, behavior just gets a vague, this PTB is shit. And if this is the only data that you have, then the only option that you have is to scrap everything and start over. So what's the solution? Honestly, it's not rocket science. Behavior just needs to rethink how they run the PTB. So first off, less is more. Instead of dumping anti-slugging, anti-tunneling, perk reworks, and killer overhauls all at once, introduce these systems gradually. Test anti-slugging on its own, then test anti-tunneling, step by step, one variable at a time. That's how you actually figure out what works. Second, open the PTB to everyone. Right now it is only Steam users, which locks out a massive part of the community. Console players and people who aren't on Steam can't participate at all, and that's a huge amount of feedback that is just being thrown away. If behavior wants meaningful data, they need to introduce the whole player base. It is also not a secret that the players that play on console react to changes differently than to the players that play on PC or also Switch. Third point, smaller test cycles. Don't wait months to stack giant piles of change into one chaotic PTB. Drop smaller updates more frequently. That way, each test is cleaner, the feedback is clearer, and with a bigger player base involved, you get way more useful results. Fourth point. My fourth point is fix the PTB client. Right now, you basically have to reinstall the entire game just to access the test build, and then reinstall again to switch back to the live version. I tell you, this is clunky, frustrating, and it kills the incentive to even bother. Either make the PTB a separate client or integrate it into Dead by Daylight, like directly, so people can jump in without installing the whole game twice. Because really, you are just like wasting so much time and effort for nothing. And let's go over to the last point, the final point. Behavior needs to improve communication. Right now, giving feedback feels kind of like shouting into a void. There should be like an easy bug report system, clearer channels to contact the devs, and more transparency on what feedback is actually being read and acted on. Partially, behavior is doing there already a good job. Like, you can report things on Reddit, you can report them on Twitter, but also on their forum. But it just kind of feels like a mix if you get a response or not. And at the same time, sometimes the response that you get is strange. Not long ago, there was a Reddit user that was saying like, hey guys, is it normal that you can actually get hit by Springtrap through the camera with an axe? And one of Behavior's employees said, no, this is a bug, we're investigating this. Until actually somebody said, no, that's not a bug. It is the add-on, the Iridescent add-on, which allows to do that. It states that directly in the description. Do you even playtest your own game? The same thing was also brought up then when the Walking Dead update actually dropped into the game, and you had this poll named by the community as a gym, where you just have to ask yourself, did nobody notice this? I don't want to get hold on this detail. I just want to say, like, if behavior even did half of the points that I suggested, the PTB would stop feeling like a dumping ground and actually become what it is supposed to be, a real testing environment, and that helps the game to move forward. And until they stop piling everything together, they're going to keep ending up in these same circles of chaos, backlash, revert, repeat. I just want to say Dead by Daylight doesn't need fewer experiments. It's not that these ideas were too avant-garde. They just need smarter experiments. And that starts with behavior learning how to isolate their changes and listen to the feedback they actually ask us for. And with that, thank you very much guys for watching this video. It is quite different from what I release normally. I actually wanted to have like this rundown of all the changes for the PTB, but thanks to the fact that a lot of these changes are not going to stay, I thought let's actually give a different video view here. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also join me on my streaming journey, because I'm streaming here live on YouTube, but also on TikTok and Twitch. And you also have the opportunity to check out the description for our Discord link, where you can join in and be part of a beautiful community with many different people that play Dead by Daylight, but also other games. I would love to welcome you in. What do you think, guys? What does the behavior actually need to change? Write it down in the comments, and also tell me if you think that I am right or if I'm absolutely wrong with what I'm saying. Until the next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.